Okay, all right. Okay, so Laura, let's just dive right in. The film, it really manages this high wire act of dropping these breadcrumbs of the abuse that's occurring, while also really grounding the film so deeply in Jem's shoes that you kind of unfortunately get like swept up in like Owen's charm. So, how did you cultivate and balance and maintain that balance?
Yeah, that was really the crux of directing this film, was
Mhm.
finding a way to, yeah, delicately balance the intoxication that Jem feels in this relationship with the inappropriateness. And it was really honestly about grounding the story in from her perspective. We're with her 100% of the time. It's intimate, it's immediate, and like we're with her moment to moment. So the audience is, I wanted the audience to experience the relationship how Jem experiences it. So she finds self-worth from Owen, and she enjoys exploring her sexuality, and there are positive, she's experiencing this opening up, and so it's exciting and dreamy. And so we'll sometimes root for the relationship because even though we know it's wrong. And I wanted the audience to understand why Jem could fall for Owen and maybe fall for him a little bit at times too, and then be like, oh God, wait, why did I want that? And so it's really just, if you ground the story with your protagonist, you're going to want what she wants. And it was, so much of it is casting too. Like Lewis is incredibly magnetic and kind and gentle, and I think that really comes through in the character. I think if we had cast someone who was like either looked too old or like had something off-putting immediately, like you would write him off, from the minute you saw him, and it wouldn't work. So yeah, it was honestly like, it was everything. It was the writing, it was the editing, it was how we shot it. Um, from camera wise, like, and music too. We didn't really want to like sway the audience too much in one direction. It was really just about being with Jem and letting the moments unfold organically,
Mhm.
and kind of then letting the audience come to their own conclusions about what they see on screen.
Mhm. What was the most surprising change in going from a short film director to a feature director that you may not have thought of in preparation?
Um, I think I felt very prepared and I felt very ready to make a feature. I think the biggest learning curve for me was just the stamina that it takes to shoot for 5 weeks. And it really just like, so much of that involves just how you take care of your body, like physically, like how much sleep you get, what you're eating. Like that was so important so that my brain could work. When directing a really emotional scene at like 3 a.m. Also, Red Bull is my friend. I've discovered, I didn't know, and then I discovered Red Bull and I fell in love. And so much so that like all of the PAs just started buying me Red Bulls and writing my name on them and like keeping them. They were like my special Red Bulls. And I got Eliza hooked on Red Bulls. I got Lewis hooked on Red Bulls. It was great.
You could have made a little short documentary of the story of Red Bull of everyone involved.
Honestly, yeah, this is sponsored by Red Bull. We should have done product placement. It would have been weird if there was just like a row of Red Bulls in church, but hey.
So talking about the set, what do you think is the most important characteristic of a set that allows actors to be as vulnerable as your script demanded of them?
Yeah, I think it's about building trust, and it's about uh I try to cultivate uh an attitude on set that is about play.
Mhm.
And encouraging them to try different things out, time permitting. Like there's no wrong way to do it, just so they can relax. And oftentimes that's what inspires things that are surprising in performances. And that's what I try to find, those surprising moments. And trying to not be stressed out. You know, I think it really comes from the top. It comes from me. If I'm stressed out, then everyone is stressed out, and you just feel it on set. And so yeah, I was really trying to keep it chill, which I think I accomplished for the most part. But yeah.
So I was reading your Letterboxd list of the 8 films that you watched, like to kind of get yourself in the mindset to
Yeah.
get ready for the Starling Girl, and I was so happy to see Sun Don't Shine on there.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I love that movie, and so I was just wondering if you could talk about, like, you guys filmed in Kentucky. The American South is such like a distinct landscape, both physically and culturally, and maybe how Sun Don't Shine kind of influenced the way that you captured Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Sun Don't Shine is one of my favorites. And I think I even said in that letterbox thing, I want Amy Seimetz to be making more movies. It's just, you know, that film is so textured. It's so dirty and muddy and sweaty, and you just feel like you're really there. You feel like you're in the elements in like sweaty Florida summer. And I think it just helps really ground audiences in the story. And you know, I would say our film is not quite as sweaty and textured, but anything that I could do to really heighten, you know, the sensory aspects of the location, from the sound design to just like how much we had the greens really pop. You know, Kentucky is so lush and beautiful. You know, to the point where sometimes the greens are so bright that it's grating, and makes you uneasy. That was something that we really tried to do. And yeah, just like making the air feel thick and heavy. And I think that just really adds to the emotion.
So my last question is, how did Ben Schneider and Lord Huron get involved with the project?
Yeah, so Ben, that happened, was connected through my producer, Kevin Rowe. He knew Ben, and you know, I've always been such a huge fan of Lord Huron. And you know, when the film was coming together, Kevin came to me and he was like, hey, you know, Ben is interested in scoring a film. You know, and can I send him your script? And is this something you'd be interested in? And I was like, oh my God, yes, please. And he read the script and he loved it. And I met with him, and, you know, we just talked about ideas, and he sent me a whole bunch of references. And then it was just like, yeah, let's do it. Like it was just, you know, we just had a lot of similar taste. And he's also just like a really cool guy. And I like to surround myself with cool, nice people as much as I can. And yeah, and then we just, you know, we talked about, again, like the score was, there's not tons of score in the movie. So when it appears, it's really important. And it was sort of the same idea as we did with camera, where I wanted to evoke a feeling, but I wanted it to be a little vague, so that, like, you know, I didn't want the music to push an agenda onto the audience. Like it was very much like, you know, if Jem is getting swept up in something and it feels like dreamy, there's always like a layer of dissonance underneath. And it's kind of like that throughout. Like that score is gorgeous, but there's always something a little uneasy and settling. And that's something that we really strove for. And yeah, Ben did an amazing job with that.
Yeah, that's kind of Lord Huron's vibe, is beautiful but a little uneasy underneath.
Absolutely. He's so good at that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's always like something a little macabre in his work, that I really love.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Laurel. It's a fantastic, lovely film, and I'm really
Oh,
glad that it's spreading wide.
thank you. Thanks so much for your very thoughtful questions.
Oh, absolutely. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.